silly for me to thank every one of these players along the line. If it wasn't for them, the competition, what it is they pushed forward, what it is they created, how each one of us tried to drive each other to a higher level, none of us would be here. I certainly wouldn't have a record one to begin with. If I try to do it time-wise, I have to thank my mom and dad, who basically looked the other way at such an obscure hobby. They were completely supportive financially and spiritually. I would say that I got my example from my father. Basically, when I was born, we lived a very extremely modest life. We worked really, really hard. And I would say I got my work ethic from him. But as time went on and I basically had good fortune in the gaming world, and the events were set up, I was just there as the cards fell together. I was there as Walter put things together, and I was there and I had good luck. At the end of 1986, I thought, well, I have a history in gaming, and I'll always have that. And I thought, basically, that was the end. In 1999, with the resurgence of classic gaming, and Walter having written a book, there came a new era of competition. And once again, I was there, when the ball bounced in my favor. I was there when I did Perfect Pac-Man in 1999. I was very honored by the fact that Masai Nakamura reached out to me, and he brought me to Tokyo. He brought me to Tokyo with a laundry list of things he was impressed with, and he honored me with the Player of the Century Award. He was so kind in his words. He gave me credit for what he believed was a resurgence in classic gaming. He said that the story of the Perfect Pac-Man ran around the world. He simply kept giving me credit. And as an individual who obviously ran a good company, he was obviously a good human being in the way he ran his company. I absolutely consider him the godfather of video games. He's always known as the father of Pac-Man. And the pinnacle part of my career, the absolute highlight, was being in his boardroom in front of him and his programmers and his inner circle of marketers. And the person I have to thank for that, in addition to him, my wife said to me, she said, you have to do what you enjoy in life, because it makes the rest of life bearable. Ooh. So after that, everything was easy. That was seemed like the most difficult part. And I had to give way in my gaming to her because she wanted a further education. We had children. The children weren't toddlers anymore. I had to be more of a father. But I see in the spirit of my wife and my children the determination to do their very best. I don't think I see it any more or any greater than I do in my son. I hope when I'm an old man and I look back on the situation, I hope I can say that I'm as good of a man as I see him becoming. He's my son Billy. He's in the front row. And I want him to come up here and get this. He said it's okay to tell him that you just set 2 new Donkey Kong world records. He was in there playing games when it happened, but now that all that's out of the way, the truth is video games burned in my personality in competition to be the very, very, very best, no matter what happened. I would not allow, and I can speak for everybody, every player here, you don't allow an obstacle to get in front of you and be empowered. There's simply a way around, a way over, under everything. And that's what being a video game champion is all about. And again, I try to live that